Hello and welcome back to Railway Empire 2. We start today paused because we have a lot to build, well, as much as we can afford anyway, in order to get one of our tasks complete a lot faster, and that is to deliver or transport a lot of goods around our network to our new cities. And we have North Platte, the correct pronunciation. I don't know why I went with North Plate, but there we go. It is North Platte, and it was a journey and a half, wasn't it? From Wichita to North Platte. We're waiting on our final load of lumber to go to Topeka, but we can't really force that issue any further than what we're doing already. We are making them grow, and that's the only way they're going to increase their demand. The 250 freight cars of goodies, we do have a few pieces of low-hanging fruit as far as getting more freight around our network. The freight cars shifted. Wilson Stop we can bring back into play. We do need to get sugar into play as well, especially in our 4 cities now, isn't it? Yeah, our 4 cities that are currently connected up. We go down, sugar is an early demand, so that is something we should definitely think about getting hooked up today. It's a bit awkward. Our only sugar, if we bring up the flow of goods, our only sugar is over this side, over the west. In fact, they're bunched up, aren't they? We do have some down in Texas, but we can't purchase that. So that's a late game thing. So where do we spend this money first? And some more low-hanging fruit would be the base product. The cows, for one. We've already got the wool underway. We've got a nice one here with both cows and wood at Omaha. And that would be a nice little connection down to Topeka and to Kansas as well. I like this one. We've got both corn and grain that we can take into North Platte. It would kind of make the Wilson Stop setup we've got redundant, perhaps, as we could take that down. Or we block them from taking it down to Wichita and hook into the main line here with Wilson Stop. Yeah, so that is the big plan today. We'll get as much done as possible and hopefully get close to that achievement. Let's have a look at the lay of the land. Fairly straightforward. We can go in the back, perhaps, and get as close to the city as possible, as we get paid per delivery, not by a distance. I'm going to extend this so that we can come into it with the thought of heading further out there and picking up milk later on. And maybe connecting to Cheyenne? Perhaps. Cheyenne needs founding. Yeah, because it's a settlement at the moment, but it might not be a bad idea. It takes wood, it takes grain, and it will take meat. The only thing we don't have around here is meat, so that'll be a tricky one early on. Okay, we're going to get our gridirons in and our direction of travel, and we'll hook into the existing gridiron. Will we need this double tracking all the way? We'll start with no, although track building isn't the most expensive for us. We've still got to hook up a few more rural businesses, don't we? And we've also got to maybe get Omaha hooked up down there as well. So yeah, if we can save a few bob here and there, that'll do. We'll wait until you've got 4, just to keep things shifting. And we don't own the rural businesses, so it will allow them to max out. Right, what's that going to be? Not the Inyo. We'll need as the Baldwin 10-wheeler, not the consolidation. Freight only. We won't have any rail cars. It's all about shifting carloads of freight, isn't it, at the moment? Okay, so North Platte hooked up, and you have some goodies. We've got cows to hook up. We may as well reuse as much of our track as possible. We can always widen our tracks later on. By widen, I mean taking them to quad track or even 6 tracks. We could go all the way up to Wichita and stay off the main line. But early on, I don't think it's really necessary. Oh, what's going on there? You trying to make a tunnel? You want to click on? There we go. Well, we've got a bit of room here, so we can have multiple trains use a single platform and queue up outside the station. We also have to get in some water towers, don't we? Some supply towers. Not just water, of course. Okay, that's another connection. That's we've got another train up there, one down here. This is going to be a bit tricky to get in, perhaps. Yeah, we can't have them floating around, I don't think. So it depends how much it's going to cost. We do have a bit of an issue appearing here, although we can perhaps branch off that way into a single line up to Omaha. Or should we concentrate on supply towers? Possibly not. Should we delete this? Currently, it's just sitting there, doing nothing. We don't have any trains there. It'll give us a few extra coins to play with. How much is this going to cost us? Lay of the land is pleasant enough. We'll run a double track and allow us to hook into both Topeka and into Kansas. Not like that though. We'll get it all tidied up. Stay away from the terrain there. That isn't bad. 63,000. We have taken out our current bond that was available to us, and we've also, I believe, claimed all of our connection bonuses. 113,000, but it has given us a second platform. So all we'll do with this one is wait until we have the money. We'll hook you in there, hopefully. Are you not going to hook in there? Why? Why won't you hook in there? It's fine. Oh, well. We'll have to delete that back and reconnect it. Right, let's hit play. We do have a few trains up and running now. And let's not forget to turn the train usage overlay on. It'll be lovely if the game remembered that. We have our train we rode at the end of the episode. It does amaze me just how large the scale is when it comes to riding your trains and looking across the map. Because when you're in strategy mode or planning mode, it doesn't look that massive, does it? Or impressive. But as soon as you get down here, it's absolutely ginormous. Yeah, that's heading right off into the distance. In fact, you can't see it much, even on the horizon. You can just make out North Platte on the horizon there. That's lovely, isn't it? Oh, here's some signalling in use. I do like that. Yeah, we're holding up our mainline train, but it's also a mixed goods train. So, yeah, it's carrying, by the looks of things, a lot of steak at the moment. So not too terrible. And you are carrying the cows, which we turn in to the steaks. Oh, that's convenient. Right, what are you taking in? You're taking a lot in, aren't you? Can we afford anything yet? It was quite pricey, wasn't it? How much was it? It was 83,000. Now we can afford it. And then we've got to sort out some shenanigans to actually get hooked into here, because it refuses to actually make a connect. Oh, I've gone across Grand. It's my fault. Here's me blaming the game. It's actually yours truly who messed that up. Yeah, it was so easy to go across the track like that I forget sometimes I do that and then start blaming the game. It's fine. We don't mind the slowing down. We're going to be taking probably a lot of mixed trains. Let's pause it quickly. They have meat. Yeah, both of these guys are going to need meat. Wichita also supplies meat. We'll also need another connection heading into Kansas as well, but we can separate it further later on. Now, time to save up on a little bit of cash so that we can, or coins, that's what they're called, aren't they? And then we can get everything underway. We can set up the gridiron though, let's not forget that. Yeah, our train, how much is our train going to cost? The mixed one, the Inyo, is kind of expensive, isn't it? Let's have a quick look. 2 Topeka, and yes, automatic. How much are you, Mr. Inyo? We need to save up 73,500. Yeah, we can cancel that. It's a shame you can't save the trains you're building in like a separate list. I know they can appear down here if you do accept it without a train, but then you're fighting this list, aren't you? Unless there's any way to filter them to... Oh, I guess you could buy a locomotive because they wouldn't have one, would they? We could maybe toy with that. Let's see. Where does it appear in that list? Is it viable as saving a line? We can't have a train on though, so remove that. But we can set the train with, like, once we can afford it, as the loco, but with 0 trains on. It's going to complain about it, which is fine. I would just like to see where it appears in the list of lines. Well, there we go. It's got the question mark on it, and perhaps it's pushed it up to the top. Yeah, it might have done, because it's got no train on it. Okay, it's viable. In that case, then, as soon as it's available, I just have to remember to do that, though. I'll stick with make it as you go. Create the line and buy the train, because I will forget how to do that. Yeah. It's going to take us a little while to get this money together, but we do have a few mixed services that are going to give us passenger and mail income, which is by far the most income you're going to get from shifting stuff around. We almost have the money for our new line into Topeka. I'm going to go with mixed because it's nice to get those passenger and mail cars shifted, isn't it? Even though that's not really our task, but we do need financing. Okay, let's use this one, the one we've got, and what we should be able to do is just add the train to it. Yes. Yeah, that would take some getting used to. My muscle memory tends to do it as I need them. Our trains still shifting their corn. Oh, is our wood train left yet? No, it's still there. We're still waiting on that final piece of wood. Why are you waiting so long? You're just not using it, are you? Yeah, 3 on the way. We're only consuming 0.1. The only reason we've got more demand for grain is we're also using that to make beer. So the demand for our grain there is 0.9. But 0.1 isn't much, is it? That's not going to get shifted very often. We need to think about possibly connecting North Platte and Omaha together at some point. Early on as well. But that's going to be a pricey build. This one is going to be a much easier one to achieve and a lot cheaper as well. So let's get you hooked up if we can afford it. We don't need to double track it at the moment. We do need a double track heading into the junction there though, so that we get some signalling sorted out for our train. We'll hit play on that because we're going to need the money. This will be our... Oh, I've done that the wrong way round. We will need our freight train on here. Then I guess we'll save a little bit and start plonking down some supply towers. Although, not seen any yet. No trains are really slowed. And it takes a while for them to be too slow that they hold everything up. I would imagine it's as they run out of oil as well. Is that the other thing? Or coal? I can't remember what you actually require. Let's get this cow train up and running into Omaha so they can make more steaks. Omaha Steaks! Not sponsored, but I do remember seeing their adverts. Right, anyway, Baldwin 10-wheeler, a little cheaper than the Inyo. Not by much, but definitely got that tractive power, hasn't it? 70%, still does 44 miles per hour. So we're going to save it for branch lines eventually and dedicated freight lines. Whether we do much with express lines, they certainly make the money. The mixed approach seems my favourite at the moment. Early on, anyway, because you're doing a bit of everything, aren't you? And the demand isn't there. Yes, you're waiting. This is going to be the one we're waiting on, isn't it? How are we doing with our freight? We're up to 177 carloads of freight delivered. Well, that's impressive. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. Topeka, double arrows up. They're at 91%. Mainly because of our settler bonus. As soon as that gets to 10,000 population, we lose that. Now, what's next on the list? None of these. We don't need clay, coal, iron, steel, or weapons for city growth. It'll be milk at 35,000, and we are a long way off that. Goodness me, we got a payday. We can hook in to our other line here, can't we? That one's maximum. I would like to leave at least a block, if we can, down here. And 63 miles per hour is absolutely fine. That way we can queue trains up and get them shifted off junctions. Really? Now this one isn't me, is it? No, that's the game. That's the problem when sometimes it does this and other times it's your own fault. You don't know which one it is immediately. Right, we need to delete that line back and then rebuild that one, and it should do it. There we go. Dear oh dear. Have I yeeted that train? Please say not. Are you still there? Why have you deleted my train? Oh, you've gone back up there. Never mind. Well, I guess it's a lesson to be learned. Don't be making junctions while there's trains on them. I mean, it does kind of make sense. There should be possibly a little more warning involved, though. Let's send you up the other way. We'll send you to Omaha first. Yes, automatic, please. And this will be the Inyo. But I mean, the attractive power on the Inyo is really impressive. 64%. Whether it gets up to the 51 miles an hour. But that's an impressive speed increase as well over the freight train, isn't it? That only does 44 miles an hour. Right, you get shifted. We're in the... Oh, I was going to say we're in the red there. We had minus. But it's usually a good sign. Because everything you're setting up should make you money. Providing you've got trains running them. How are we doing with our cows? Yeah, we're still taking a lot of cows. Definitely will need that powerful Baldwin, won't we, on that one? Because that's a lot of cows to be dragging behind you. And there's 8 cows. Is there? Maybe? It's just 8, isn't it? We're still waiting on our wood. Our wood is just not appearing. We do have the supply. We're full, in fact. So I guess we'll just let that do its thing. We are growing though, so perhaps our demand will tick up a little bit. If this goes up from 0.1, that would be lovely. So where's our next stop, do we think? Perhaps getting sugar in? Maybe getting a warehouse? Warehouses are expensive, but it would mean we could bring at least the corn down from North Platte into Wichita. We could set up this corn farm as well. We have a research point to spend. It's an interesting one. Increase profit of all your factories we don't have, so not really required. Another one that's going to make our lives a little easier for expansion. Should we go with mail sorting? That's just a flat increase in delivery from mail. I like it. It's a little more money early on. What are we carrying here? Well, there we go. We got, what, 54 pieces of mail there to be delivered. So that's just an increase anyway. Yeah, and we've got mainly meat heading to Kansas. What do we have here? That was the cows, yeah. We do have a train heading back to Kansas with some, well, 20 mailbags on that one. And of course, we've got our train heading from Topeka up to Omaha. That's taking 3 lots of beer, 26 mailbags, and 45 passengers on that train. It would be kind of nice to be able to take more than the basic, like double up on wagons later on as your trains get a little more powerful. I don't know how they can really do that. It's tough to keep up in the late game, isn't it? You just have to flood your network with trains and separate the rail lines and as much as possible. Wichita, what do you actually need? Let's have a look at their demand.
These goods will be put to good use.
We achieved the 250 freight cars. That's lovely. I don't know how you make this one go any faster. I really don't. It's not possible, is it? The demand is just not there. Unless you can place a warehouse there and that counts. If it does, I'll be sad. Because it's only going to deliver 3 if we do it. I would kind of like to do it. Right, let's see. And we'll deliver wood up to Wichita for that one. That will be what that warehouse is for. And they should require it. So, yeah. What we'll have to do, though, is change our line into Kansas, as we don't want to be shifting wood backwards and forwards from Kansas when they have their own connection. So we'll get rid of wood off of that. We don't want to take it up to Omaha either, so we'll remove wood delivery from Topeka there. And we're not going to warehouse at Kansas. This is mainly to go to Wichita. It should trigger the delivery from this train and fill it with logs from Wichita. It will be a lesson learned sort of thing. There we go. We've got our logs for Wichita. And thankfully, we've only got 3 for Topeka. I mean, it would have probably got us that other quest a little sooner. What did it actually say? It just says transport, doesn't it? It doesn't really make it clear whether that means dropping it off at a warehouse counts as a stage and as a separate a counter. So if we took it to Topeka, as we're doing, for example, that would be 1 delivery, and then we took it from Topeka to Wichita, that would be a 2nd delivery, but all for the same piece of wood. Not sure whether that's a thing. And likewise, if this counts, it's a little bit sad because we've missed out probably on a huge score there, but it will be lessons learned for me and for you guys, so you can tweak your gameplay a little bit when it comes to that. It's a bit of a snarl up at the moment, yeah, but fortunately the dispatcher has let our wood train come in, so we don't have to wait for an answer there. It'll be lovely to get the stuff delivered anyway to Wichita, wouldn't it? Right, you're getting delivered. It does not count as far as I've seen. No, it has to be to Topeka itself, so the warehouse trick will not work. Good to know. So by the time we get back there, we should have perhaps some logs waiting for us. And on the flip side, we now have some wood on the way to Wichita. And now is probably a good time to start adding us some supply towers. They are less than 30k. I think we can we? It's a bit of a squeeze, isn't it? We might not have the triangle room there. So what we'll do is we'll just plonk these close to the stations and we'll do it that way. It seems a bit hit and miss, by the way. The train's not slowing down at the supply towers, so I don't know what's going on there. For here, we'll definitely need one there because that one's been running a while, and well, you're broke, Grand. You're not doing anything else. So there we go. We've got an answer. We can't cheese it by delivering via a warehouse. Kansas is going to start needing milk eventually, and at 30,000, once we get them growing, we are going to need to start thinking about building, what were they, immigration centers or something? That's the new building, isn't it? Immigration office. They only cost 19.7k to construct. That's kind of lovely. I'm intrigued to see just how much growth that pushes. We might need a second train on here because it's quite the distance, especially if we bring corn in as an option to take down to Wichita. It seems a bit excessive. I might just bring this back into play. Yeah, because we could take that corn across to Omaha. And we should maybe hook up this wood directly, wood direct, And we can take that across to North Platte, can't we? Because the closest wood there is all the way over and past Cheyenne. In fact, it's up Rock Springs. Grand Junction over there as well, in the hills, mountains. Yep, yeah, you're definitely going to need a little bit of supply tower. We don't have much money to play with, do we? I would still like to separate filling here. Perhaps we'll leave you to fill up the other way. Yeah, you fill up going that way instead. I don't mind you running slow. I believe it's oil is the main culprit for slowing down. Currently, you're running at 39 miles an hour, 40. I mean, you're dry, but you're still moving. I'll take the game's mechanic over realism. Because that's what it is, isn't it? Railway Empire is a little bit more like an arcade game as opposed to a simulator. Which is lovely. I like that. So what do we set up? We've got to get sugar into play as well. That's going to be a tricky one. And then maybe we can start thinking about Dodge City. And we should be dealing with supplying our trains, yeah, from the grain farm because we've got them on the main line. We could share one over for our 2 logging trains, in fact. Yeah, I don't mind that. And we'll share one for these 2. That seems excessive. Let's get a little bit more money together. We'll have these 2 on this triangle. We can merge them into one later on when we double track it. On the flip side, it's probably unnecessary by then as well, as you could just afford to plonk another one down. Next connection, it's got to be North Platte, hasn't it, into Omaha? Or no, the wood for Omaha. And that way, when we do connect up to North Platte across this way, we can, or to the west, yeah, we can send them some wood over. Deliveries are happening. This guy is going to, yeah, he's going to get his oil resupplied way before it's going to run out. He's still at 59%. That should be good enough. We've got wood on the way now, don't we? To Omaha. Yeah, there we go. Oh, not Omaha, Wichita. We've got a whole bunch being delivered there, so that'll increase the growth rate for Wichita. And we're already seeing supply demand from our cow train there, which isn't surprising. It's shifting a lot of cows, so it's always moving. And in that case, can we afford one? We should do shortly. We'll get one on here as well and get that one out the way, and we don't have to worry about it. Which train are we going to ride today? Maybe one of the Omaha trains. We'll head into Topeka. I'm hoping our wood shows up soon. It seems like a bit of a stumbling block that you can't avoid. I can't think of any other way to push that. How many pieces of wood do you have on there? That's the Kansas train. Where are you? Just there. Oh, you have one. We could have sent it. Guys, I'm terrible. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's quickly send that in. That was absolutely my fault. I should have kept an eye on that. Let's just send you down to 2 wagons and then you can get going. Right, there is our task complete. Again, could have been a lot sooner, so that's probably put a real dent in our score. But definitely one to look out for. It was kind of a test anyway. I wouldn't have normally set it up with Wichita taking any logs because of that, and I would have straight up forgotten, as I demonstrated. But this will allow us to see, for the next episode perhaps, what our new group of tasks have in store for us. It might even be to connect Dodge City up and have them founded, which, given our funds, will be a little tricky to achieve, but we'll see. We're heading into the station now. It's just got one car of lumber for Topeka, and then one. Oh, they're both for Topeka. Look at that. I bet before it pulls in. Have you increased your demand? There we go. It's doubled its demand there. So yeah, maybe we could have just squeezed it in. Perhaps a few days earlier. I doubt it would have been much more than that. There we go.
The
We
rumble
are
of our
done.
locomotives on the freshly laid tracks fills the air with joyful anticipation. I thought your way of doing business would be right up my alley. Efficient and reliable. Keep it up, and God will open all doors for us. Now we must not let up. In sleepy Topeka, the seed of true growth is stirring.
Well, this one's going to be an interesting one for Topeka, isn't it? Have 7 different goods available in Topeka, which is interesting because that would mean you would need at least a warehouse, wouldn't you? Otherwise, you're going to be waiting for eternity to have enough goods created in Topeka. So there we go. We're going to need to bring in corn anyway, so we can set that up. I zoomed right in there. These are lovely, aren't they? Just to be a little bit distracted, but the little towns are absolutely lovely. But yes, first off, let's change this train back to 4 goods. So we're taking a little bit more each time. What train was that? Was that the Topeka train? That's the Kansas train. That one should be 4, shouldn't it? Yes, that one's 4. I don't know why it took us over there. I think for the station. Yeah, it was the station. So let's change this. We're going to start taking some... Oh, we could have done that when we built the warehouse, but it's fine. It's fine. We can take some cloth now down to Wichita from Kansas. We're already taking it up to Omaha. And that should be an overlap at some point. And bringing corn this way from Wichita to Topeka, which is maybe the way to do it. The other way would be to take it into Omaha and have Omaha transfer it into those 2. And yeah, we'll get it from Wichita direct, wouldn't we? Yeah, this is going to be more likely fruit then and veg and taking it out that way. And we have fruit and veg just there. Okay. And what's the other one? I believe it was fruit related. Yes, fruits to Wichita. They are quite a way off fruit. It is, we've got to deliver milk to them first, then vegetables, then milk. So, yes, there are big plans ahead. Perhaps while we're waiting for that to happen, we can get Dodge City underway. But for now, we've got a train on the way down. Alright guys, we're on board our Kansas-bound train from Omaha. We're taking a whole mixed bag. Not the best view in the world. I couldn't really find one. And it looked decent with a lot of visuals. But I know some of you prefer to be on the train as opposed to be on the nose of the train. I'll play around with it as we go. This is the Inyo, of course. Guys, thank you for watching. Lots to do when we come back. And until then, take care.